Good morning and happy Friday. I hope that you all are doing okay today. My name is Nicole Yvonne, and if you have been following, my business is Healing on the Mat. My practice is geared around mental health, psychology. I am not a psychologist, but it is geared around the study of making sure that we overcome our traumatic experiences, and we use yoga in a plethora of other thing, as a tool in order to ground ourselves and recuperate our bodies and our minds and our souls so that we prevail at the highest level. At the core of me, I am Christian, but I struggle to say that because I'm still a work in progress. I'm still a cousin Christian. I still have my ways and my tendencies that all of the church may not agree with, but I love the Lord with all my heart. I do believe that He saved my soul, but at the same time, I lead with love. And I try to lead with respect and understanding for everybody's situation because we all have a story. And if you knew all of mine, God, I'd probably go hide under a rock. But He has saved me and He has redeemed me and He has made me whole and new. And I have found that using this body to practice yoga has been a tool to really truly strengthen my spiritual relationship. And so whatever your spiritual relationship looks like, I want that to be the most profound thing that it can be. And while we get healthier within ourselves, I've learned that the church sometimes, for me, this is my own personal story, sometimes the church can leave us feeling judged and feeling insecure and feeling like we have neglected all the right things to turn to the wrong things when we're just trying to figure out how to live. And through my therapy walk and through all the things that I've studied, your life is uniquely divine and created simply for you. And even if you are going down what some people may feel is not the right path. We all have a past. We all have a story and a journey to get to where we are. And I know that I was protected the whole entire way. And had I had a little bit of safety and security along the way, I probably would have gotten further much faster. And so, what I'm here for today is to talk to you about the chakra system. Primarily, today we are going to focus on the root chakra. What we are going to do is a meditation practice that is going to last the span of 7 days. And I've been studying some more. Again, I will put those people, I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking from somebody else. So a lot of the videos, it is giving credit where credit is due. I will say that I've been studying the chakra system for quite some time now. But again, my Christian beliefs had me thinking that I was going down the wrong path. When I started this journey, I started with nothing but gospel music for 2 years. Nothing but gospel music. And it became my prayer closet. It became my walk with God. And so what some people deemed demonic, I believe with all my heart that I found a light and a source of energy that helps me to sustain my relationship with God, my grounding for myself and my life and my spirituality and all those things. And I want the same for you. And so I want us, because as I went through this practice, I realized that the more people talked about what was wrong about it, I was gonna prove them wrong. And it's no longer about proving anybody right or wrong. It's just giving you the information that I have found. And if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. And that's okay. Please move along. It's not the channel for you. But if it's for you, please like, please share, please subscribe, and please follow. But what I found is that when I started my yoga practice, I had no clue the things that I was holding on to mentally, the things that I was struggling with, the angst and pressure that I was putting on myself from taking in the all the outside noise. And when I got ready to go inward, it just was a floodgate, an opening of all this spiritual awareness, self-awareness, self-reflection. It just became an opening for me to ground myself. And over the past few years, between work, between losing a job, between losing my yoga position at the recreation center that I was at, I have not been practicing over the past year the way that I did before. And I can feel the difference in my body, and I can feel that I've lost some of those gifts that I had gained in the process, and I need to regroup and reground myself in order to do that. But along the way, I've learned so much more information. So where I was scared to say chakras and I was scared what the church may say, I don't give a damn anymore. I simply don't. I am my truest self. God has helped create that and make that, and I'm cool with who I am. And so I want to give you all the information that I've learned. And so regrounding myself means that we're going to go through just small meditation practices in order to reactivate each level of the chakra. And today we're going to focus on the root system, but I want to give you an overall synopsis, especially from my spiritual perspective. When you look at the chakra system, it works from the ground up. And some of you, if you've been following along for a while, I've deleted videos, I've started over, I've been preaching this for some time. So it starts from the ground up. I always thought that it started from the crown. When you look at that root chakra, it is your core foundation. It is the start, it is the base, it is the premise. One of the things that I found very interesting is that when we look at science and like neurological system, there is the theory of the gut-brain axis, which in that theory, states that 80% of what is actually put into your brain and in your mind comes from the gut, which means that we have a brain down here and we have a brain up here. 80% comes from the functioning of your gut. 80% of what you believe, what you think, how you move, how you operate, it goes back. 80 to 90% actually. 10 to 20% cycles back from your mind back down into your gut. So if that be the case, science could be wrong, but in this case, I don't think so, because we have gut instincts for a reason. We have that innate instinct for a reason. When we look at the gut, it is the source of it all. When we look at the gut, it is how life was produced. It is where you came from. It is your organs and your functioning. Yes, your heart keeps your body pumping too, but your organs do so much. It is the start of that. It is the root. Right? And so the first practice that we're going to do is 10 minutes of meditation. And I thought that I would walk you through this first before I actually sit down on the floor and do it with you. First of all, I challenge you to do it by yourself. But for those of you who want to see me sit in the floor for 10 minutes and meditate, I will do it here as well. But I just didn't think many of you would want to see me sit and meditate for 10 whole minutes. But some of you may need the motivation. You may need the ability to see somebody else do it and know that it can be done. But to start this, we're going to start with a 10-minute meditation practice where you sit cross-legged in the floor. If you feel like you have too much pressure on your knees or that is just too difficult, you can sit in a chair like I'm sitting right now, and you can do it from a chair. When I do it in post, I'm going to do it from cross-leg position on the ground. As you sit in that cross-leg position, you're going to focus on the root, the core foundation of your spine. Now remember, there is the root chakra, then there's the sacral, then there is the solar plexus. Those three, to me, from a spiritual aspect, are Jacob's ladder. I truly believe that there is no other temple coming. I believe that Jesus was the rebuilt, reincarnated temple, and through the Holy Spirit in us, we are the new temple. Every single one of you. I will dwell in many places, in many houses. We are the temple. Okay. And so when you look at that vision where they said that, I don't know all the scripture, don't quote me word for word, but when you look at the visualizations that told what the new heaven would look like and what the new earth will look like, I believe that we are it. But Jacob's ladder was the stepping point. I feel like our root, our sacral, and our solar plexus is the stepping point. Our heart, our heart was a remnant of the, or a duplication of the altar that was in the original temple. That is what our heart reflects. So when you get to the heart, it's like you've done all this work to get up here, and now we're at middle ground. Now we're starting to find that shift between heaven and earth, between earth and heaven. Now we're starting to align ourselves with something that's a little more spiritual, a little more grounded, and we're starting to realize how to love ourselves, how to love others, how to love nature. How does it all come together in order for us to get to this throat chakra, which is your discipleship. It is your spreading of the word. It is your truth. It is your speaking up for the goodness of mankind, for justice, for humanity, for what is right, for what is good, for what is noble, for all of those things, for philanthropy, for a number of things. You're using your voice now. And if you have balance, if you've grown and matured through the hardship, and you've got to this heart level where now you start to see and bridge the gap, now you speak to bridge the gap. Then you get to the third eye. That is your spiritual wisdom. God always told us that we would have an eye and a wisdom to see the things that are not of this earth. And then you get to the crown. You get to the place where you are wholly accepted. You are find yourself approved, right? You are a good and faithful servant. You have a connection with the higher being, and you understand that it is prevalent. You understand that it tops all, that it trumps what you see down here, that there is safety and security in that, and we need to get back to that safety and security, which is why we're going to do this practice. Because again, I started practicing and I saw a majority of things come from my practice that I could not explain until after I did the research and the study. But everything, every good benefit that they say you get from yoga, I was able to obtain before I even knew what I was doing. Are there good and bad to everything? Yes. We are going to get into understanding energy in our body, how to use it, how to use it to heal, how to use it to send goodwill toward others. And I speak that all the time, but there's a deeper level of understanding that energy. Can anything be used for good and bad? It can. I could give you a pack of chocolate and you could willfully eat two and move on about your day and say, that is enough. I am full. It is well. Or you could sit in gluttony and eat the whole pack of chocolate. The same applies here. I'm not sending you down a rabbit hole of anything that I would feel to be demonic or out of line. If that's where you choose to take yourself, that's your walk. Do what you do. But the things that I'm giving you and the things that I'm asking you to do are tools that we have naturally been given to use for good in our body, to use for good toward the world, for others that surround us, to create love, loving environments, loving space, loving energy, and therefore we become a magnet where people are drawn to our good energy. Do we have to protect that sometimes because everybody doesn't want to see you shine? Yes, just like Judas and Jesus, but he still moved with love. He still operated and functioned with love. And so that's what we want to get to. So as you sit in that grounded position, I want you to start meditating that you are safe, you are secure, you are rooted, you are grounded. Those are the only meditation words that you need to use throughout your practice. You are safe, you are secure, you are rooted, you are grounded. You are safe, you are secure, you are rooted, you are grounded. Whether you're sitting in the chair, whether you're sitting cross-legged. The goal that you're going to use is to realign the spine. That's what you have in mind when you do this. You want the breath to rise from the root up so that eventually you clear out all the negative energy, all the negative blockages that may be taking place, all that stiffness in your spine. We're clearing it out. So as you sit, you want to sit cross-legged, and you want to bring, initially, you want to bring your hand to the back of your spine, the very tailbone that exists in your body. You want to bring it there so that when you inhale, it's like you're filling a balloon with air, and that air travels all the way down to the root of your spine, to the very tip tail of it. As you do this, not only are you meditating, remember it's a mind, body, soul connection. You're meditating, but you're also paying attention to your breath. You're paying attention to the air that travels down to the tip of your spine. You're paying attention to what's activated. You're paying attention to what may be blocked. You're paying attention to how that air circulates energy. So later down the line, let's say you hurt your finger, you stubbed your toe, right? Something like that. You can inhale and direct that breath. Breathe, imagine that breath is going all the way to where you injured. Now, if an athlete gets injured, it's going to take a lot longer to heal, probably because the injury is more substantial, it's greater. But this is a way that an athlete can start to heal their body. It's mind over matter. It's belief. It's that faith the size of a mustard seed, and it's energy within you honing itself to conducive goodness, to heal, to repair, to restore, to increase circulation, to increase life, to regenerate new cells in that area so that you can thrive at your highest level. Now, throughout the process of this grounding, you might start to feel things go numb. You might start to feel your legs fall asleep. You might start to feel a heaviness. You're going to have to push past that. Now, I don't want you to push yourself into a place where you're hurting. If you get to that point, stop. Or if you're on the ground, you can always move to a chair. However, if you're sitting in a chair, you should not feel that. So determine where you need to start. But if you're sitting in a chair, you should not feel pain, but you should feel a heaviness. Remember that we are dealing with the root. So not only does life start there, not only are our organs there, it is the root. So the second thing that I want you to know, or another point that I want to make, is that everything settles there as well. So when we look at it, it's still the grounding point. So if we have toxins in our system, it's settling down into the organs. If we are making progress, because along my journey, I have made strides. When we overcome, sometimes the issue of blood, right? We have all this old dead blood in our system, this stagnant energy, this stagnant blood, it settles down in the pit of our stomach. So if you have a chiropractor, I have a good chiropractor. I won't speak any names because this is a practice that I think in Texas they probably shouldn't do, but they do. But they poke needles in the back of my knees, and then they cup it, and will pull out clots in your system. It will pull out stagnant blood in your system. And so as we go through this healing process, we want to shed the old and bring in the new. This year for me is new beginnings. So we want to get rid of that stagnant energy that has built up in our system over years of trauma and bring in the new. And so even this practice, without doing the cupping, without doing the needling, can help push that old blood out and cycle new blood in. So when you go through this process as a woman, you could even start to see an off-cycle cycle. You could start to see some of that dead blood start to release and shed itself. Even fibroids can fall out. I've heard it happening before. Think miraculously, because that is what the breath is. It is life miraculously giving you life every single day. It is oxygen miraculously restoring your life every single day that you wake up. And so that is that grounded, I am safe, I am secure, I am grounded, I am safe, I am secure, I am grounded, I have what I need, okay? We want to remind our body not to go, our mind not to go into that fight or flight, that we are sustained. we are secure, and the stronger your pelvic floor is, because what's going to happen throughout this practice is that your pelvic floor is going to increase in strength as you start to target that energy, that breath, that life down to the pit of your stomach. You're going to start drawing up your pelvic floor in your breath. Now, initially, you want to keep the spine grounded and rooted. You want to sit up tall, but that may not be the case in the beginning. So in the beginning, I want you to make sure that your hips are grounded. You can lean in just a little bit and tuck that chin. As long as you feel like that gravitropism is pulling the bottom half of your body down and your spine is expanding longer. You're going to sit there and do that for 10 minutes. I want you this time to focus on the meditation. If you want to listen to gospel music, try to make it instrumental only, but I want you to focus more on the meditation today. Tomorrow we will go to the chakra system. We will go to the sacral, but today it's just going to be simply 10 minutes of you sitting there. If you can do it longer, by all means, because this is a practice that we're never going to stop. We're going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep evolving and keep growing, because life is a journey. And this spine, as we get older, wants to decompress. It wants to shut down. We want to slump over. We want to keep this practice going so that we're always upright. We're always alert. That information is traveling through the vagus nerve back and forth, constantly revitalized, restoring our mind. I will tell you today, I woke up, I did this practice. I started on my root yesterday. Today, I did the sacral. I started on this practice. I went out the door feeling, not my best self. It wasn't like yesterday. Like yesterday, I was listening to Lizzo and I was dancing. Today, I just felt peaceful. On the way to school, I was praying with my son, literally praying because he had an incident at school. I was praying with him. Got a traffic ticket. This time, though, today, any other time I would have broke down crying. I don't have a job right now. I got another denial letter on the application process this morning. I would have broke down crying. I cut on my gospel music and I stayed silent. I wanted to break, but I stayed silent. And I stayed silent and I stayed silent and I drove in peace. Once that music went off, I opened the windows. I drove in peace on the way home. I listened to the birds chirp at every stop. And I came back home ready to record this video, where other days I would have broke down praying, God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'm mad about the traffic ticket. I even retraced my steps, and there is no sign showing the speed limit between where I turned from and where that cop was sitting. So that's still something I may dispute later down the line. But the point is, when we are grounded, when we are secure and know that everything is going to be okay, when the root is safe, when it is protected, when we understand that all is well with our soul, why cry? Some of it we do need to cry about, but the traffic ticket, life is lifing right now. Okay, I'm still protected. I'm still whole. I'm still here making this video. I'm still working toward my goals. Life is still sustaining me. I'm still in this beautiful house. I forgot to mention, my house is under construction right now. I'm still in a beautiful home in the midst of it all. It is well. This is God showing me how he can protect you through it all. The last thing that I want to say, and I probably should have pointed this out earlier, is that remember, your roots is not always you. A lot of the safety and the insecurity that we feel, remember I said we came from somebody else. And so when we look at the root chakra, we came from our parents. That your dad's DNA is in you. You sat in your mother's belly and womb for 8 to 10 months, however long you sat in her womb. If she had nervous conditions, if she was anxious during her pregnancy, if she was scared during her pregnancy, if she was young, if she experienced abuse during her pregnancy, baby, all of that is in you. And there is work to set it free, but this is a grounding tool to start doing the work to set it free. This is also, I will also say, this is also a resource to you overcoming your ego. This is also the beginning point of you overcoming your ego. Now, we will get into all the rest of the chakras later down the line, but I wanted to give you all this one to start. This one's a little longer than the rest of them will be. And I got a hair appointment, but when I get back, I will post the video of my 10 minutes of meditation. And remember, if you can go longer, if you feel like you need it more, if you find yourself crying or releasing, let it be. And if you actually get to a place where you feel like it's too much, it's too heavy, you can't do it, then start again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. But I hope that this blessed you all. I hope that you take away some nuggets from it. And remember, keep inhaling all that good life. Keep exhaling death. And your girl will see you on the flip side. I love you all. I hope you have a tremendously good weekend. But I will be here each day because we are going through these 7 days together. I'll talk to you later.